What is your duty? To look the universe in the face and then spit in its eye. To die with a curse on your lips and your finger on the trigger. To know that you are doomed, but try anyway. Inquisitor Soldevan of the Ordo Hereticus. It has been said that battles are fought and won in the mind first. If that's the case, then is it any wonder that the 41st millennium of Warhammer 40,000 is locked in an eternal war? With humanity besieged on all sides by aliens, monsters, and demons, and eaten away from within by rebels and heretics, it is a miracle that mankind has held out for so long. Hi, hello, and welcome again to another episode of Natural Juan. This time we're going to take a deeper look into the setting of Warhammer 40,000 with the Dark Heresy RPG, the very first game line of Warhammer 40,000 roleplay. So put on your powered armor, secure your purity seals, fill up your flamer, wear your fancy inquisitorial hat, and say a quick prayer to the God Emperor of mankind as we go into the deeply corrupted reaches of the Calixis sector. As mentioned above, Dark Heresy is the first game line of Warhammer 40,000 roleplay. However, it is not actually a combat-oriented game which takes it quite far from the original tabletop wargame. Instead, this game focuses on the lives of inquisitorial agents who are tasked with rooting out evil from the various human settlements of the galaxy. That said, with so many enemies arrayed against mankind and corruption so rampant on just about every level of society, purging just one city, let alone one star system, is easier said than done. Warhammer 40,000 Dark Heresy, along with all the other game lines of Warhammer 40,000 roleplay, are created by Fantasy Flight, the same company that brought about Anima, Beyond Fantasy, and several tabletop adaptations of Star Wars. To play the game, you need the usual paper and pens or pencil to record your adventures, the core rulebook at the minimum, and 2 or more 10-sided dice for each player. The game uses what is called a percentile dice system, which is quite different from the D20 system, which most role players are familiar with. This is done by rolling 2 10-sided dice, with one serving as a tens dice and the other as a ones dice, generating a number from 00 to 99. In this game at least, the 00 counts as 100, so if you roll a 3 and a 4, you roll a 34. If you roll an 8 and a 7, you have rolled an 87. You must then compare the number you rolled to a given value or stat to achieve a success. For example, a character with a willpower score of 34 must roll a number equal to or lower than that in order to succeed in resisting an enemy's social or psychic influence. Were the character to roll a number higher than 34, that would mean he has failed and suffers the consequences. There is also the degree of success mechanic where every 10 below the score is considered a success. For instance, a character has an intelligence score of 65 and rolls a 45, meaning he has 2 degrees of success as there are 2 10s between 65 and 45. Were the character to have rolled a 35, he would have 3 degrees of success instead of just 2. In opposed rolls, a given character must roll against the success of an opposing character. If both characters were to succeed and tie, however, they would need to count their degrees of success to determine the outcome, and if that still doesn't work, you must just rely on the highest score to determine a winner. The game works on a set of attributes called characteristics, which are analogous to the ability scores of most D20 games. A character's characteristics in Dark Heresy are weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, agility, intelligence, perception, willpower, and fellowship. Weapon skill refers to your character's ability to use melee weapons. Ballistic skill revolves around your character's marksmanship. Strength is simply how strong your character is and how much he or she can carry on his or her person. Toughness translates to your character's resilience against damage. Agility refers to their speed and reaction time. Intelligence is simply their academic aptitude. Perception is their ability to see or hear important cues around them. Willpower is their self-control and self-discipline. Finally, fellowship is their social skills and their ability to communicate with others. In this game, and that of other Warhammer 40,000 roleplay game lines, your character's characteristic bonus is the 10th digit of their characteristic, meaning that if your character has a willpower of 51, their willpower bonus will be 5. Sometimes though, a character might have a special ability or power that alters their bonuses, such as unnatural toughness, that doubles them. So say, if you have a toughness bonus of 3, it will become 6 for the purposes of calculation. In this game, you begin as one of numerous inquisitorial acolytes who have been taken into service by an inquisitor, an agent tasked with purging human societies of dark or malicious elements. To put it into perspective, an inquisitor is a lot like a secret agent or spy, but with much more authority and power. An inquisitor has the correct legal clout to close down all traffic routes to and from a city, call in a fleet of warships from space, summon the support of armies, or destroy a planet completely to prevent further catastrophe. That said, while certainly extremely powerful within the Imperium of Man, an Inquisitor can't simply do as he pleases, as this could potentially allow enemies of man to escape justice and cause further damage to society. So instead, they send you, their acolyte, to assess the situation first before making any immediate decisions. I mean, you can't simply drop a nuclear bomb on a city just because you suspect that there are a handful of traitors in it, right? That said, this being Warhammer 40,000 and all, it wouldn't be surprising for them to resort to such brutal tactics. Again, since this is Warhammer 40,000 we're talking about, you can only play as a human character. The roster of humans to play as are quite diverse. For one thing, you can choose from which planet or homeworld your character hails from. They can come from a wealthy world where money isn't that much of a problem, or they can hail from a planet so hard and inhospitable that they have become resistant to poisons and toxins. Then, you may choose a career for your character, which determines the kind of society they come from, be they a regular guardsman or soldier, an imperial adept or government employee, or scum, which translates to career criminal. Most of the weapons you get are the more common types you'll find in Warhammer 40,000, such as simple guns called stubbers, laser weapons or las guns, and the infamous and iconic mini rocket launchers called bolters. Then, once done, it's off to an adventure in the Calixis sector. Or, if you prefer to see things a little differently, a misadventure. Anyway, Warhammer 40,000 is already well known for being a very dark setting. This is, like I've said before, where characters that can be called heroic often die in droves. The Calixis sector, while seemingly free of overt conflict, is no exception to this rule. I mean, sure, in this part of the Milky Way there are yet to be massive armies of demons or orcs trying to loot and butcher everyone they encounter, but it's far from safe, let alone comfortable. In fact, it is safe to say that the Calixis sector is every bit as dangerous as the countless battlefields of the galaxy. It's just that whatever battles that take place are often out of sight, and what dangers there are hide in unseen places, waiting for the right opportunity to strike. Safely put, the Calixis sector is rife with crime and corruption, and rooting evil out from this place is probably just as hard or even harder than confronting them in open war. This is where cults dedicated to a perverse god might hide among rich or influential nobles, where the poor and downtrodden might turn to dark and malicious beings just to get the upper hand against their wealthier enemies. A place where criminals might offer their services to entities who crave blood and violence so that they too might become unstoppable in combat. Then there are those who simply desire power and will sacrifice anything, including those they love, so that they may gain more for themselves, be it material wealth or forbidden knowledge. In a place as heavily populated as the Calixis sector, There's no telling what one can find, and it's the duty of every agent of the Inquisition to discover, confront, and neutralize these threats before it's too late. For the purpose of this game is not to face enemies in open war, but to prevent them from ever becoming a threat in the first place. So that's it for this episode of Natural Juan. If you like this video, don't forget to like and share it with your friends. If you want more content like this, just click subscribe and hit that bell for more tabletop role-playing madness. See you all in the next video.